Number 8, in the name of Peseta Sam Lotu-Iiga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and congratulations on your appointment to Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Housing. What steps is the government taking to improve housing affordability?
Speaker.
Dr. the Honourable Nick Smith.
Mr. Speaker, a major driver of housing affordability is mortgage interest rates. And since we have been in government, they have dropped from 9% to 5%, a 50-year low, saving a family with a $300,000 mortgage $230 a week. We are taking steps across all 5 areas of land, infrastructure, labour, materials and compliance costs to tackle the doubling in house prices over the past decade. The latest step announced at the weekend is proposed changes to development contributions that have gone up by 360% over the last decade.
Peseta Sam Lotu-Iiga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Supplementary question to the Minister. Why has the government made a particular priority the cost of land in sections as opposed to the alternative proposals of a massive state housing building program?
Mr. Speaker.
Dr. the Honourable Nick Smith.
Mr. Speaker, we are particularly focused on the price of land in sections because they've increased from $94,000 a section a decade ago to over $190,000. This compares to an average section price of 100,000 New Zealand dollars in the US. Reports on housing affordability from the Treasury, from the Productivity Commission, from Motu consultants, and even from the Department of Prime Minister and Cabinet under Helen Clark, all recommended that changes focused on land supply and section costs. None of those independent reports recommended a massive state house building program.
Further supplementaries?
Speaker.
Peseta Sam Lotu-Iiga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Further supplementary to the Minister. What was the rationale given in 2002 for widening the powers of councils to set development contributions and for removing any appeals to the amounts charged?
Speaker.
Dr. the Honourable Nick Smith.
The law change in 2002 did broaden the powers for development contributions and remove those appeal rights. The rationale that was given at the time by the previous government was that the increased cost was of no concern because it would simply come out of developers' margins. Experience in the decade since has shown this was flawed thinking. The 360% increase in development contributions has been passed on in section prices and has adversely affected housing affordability.
Supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When he said on Morning Report this morning that he'd been in the job less than 2 weeks and it was going to take time to pull together new initiatives for affordable housing, could he tell the House why the government has waited almost 5 years and 2 ministers later to come up with an announcement on some work on new initiatives for affordable housing?
Mr. Speaker, as I pointed out in my primary question, the single greatest factor on housing affordability is interest rates. And I am very proud of this government's record that has seen interest rates at the lowest level in 50 years. A step that is saving the average Kiwi family over $200.
Point of order.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. That was a very specific question, and it's interesting the Minister ranting on about something else, but that's not what I asked, and I would like an answer to the question I asked.
It was a very political question, but the member wants to repeat her question. We'll give the opportunity.
Well, Mr. Speaker. If you could just wait.
I'll give you a minute to assemble your pieces of paper.
If you could wait 5 years while I put together.
No, we're not about to wait 5 years, but I'll give you 5 seconds.
Mr. Speaker, I asked when he said on Morning Report this morning that he'd been in the job less than 2 weeks and he needed time to get together new initiatives on affordable housing. Why has the government waited almost 5 years and 2 ministers later before they come up with a program of work on new initiatives?
That's exactly how I recall the question. Doctor, the Honourable Nick Smith.
As I pointed out, if you look at home ownership, for instance, over the last 50 years, it's improved in years when interest rates have been low. It's got worse in years when interest has gone up. And what that history also tells you is that interest rates have gone up under every Labor government, that this government has done a good job of keeping those interest rates low, and there are further initiatives around RMA reform, development levies and others that will be needed to enable more Kiwis to own their own homes.
I thank the Minister. Question number 9, Sewer William CO.